Back in 2013, a high speed train was carrying 247 passengers across Spain to Santiago de Compostela, where thousands of Christians gather every year to celebrate the festival of St. James, a disciple of Jesus whose bones they say are buried in that place. The train was about 2.5 miles outside the city when it rounded a curve at 120 miles an hour, which wasn't good because the speed limit around the curve was 50 miles per hour, and for good reason. Because the train was going too fast, 8 of the train cars came flying off the tracks, slammed into a concrete wall, and 78 of the passengers died. The 2 train conductors lived, and one of them immediately called for help. I've derailed, he said in his phone call. What do I do? He asked. And as he did that, a lot of people started doing all sorts of things. The other conductor got out and started helping survivors. The local firefighters happened to be on strike at that moment, but they decided to pretend that they weren't. And they decided to go and help. Hundreds of people lined up to start donating blood because when there's trouble, it's an important time to do something. And the truth about trouble is that Jesus believes you won't have any trouble finding it. You know, when Jesus invites us to call upon me in the day of trouble, he's implying that we will have days that are kind of troubling. When he tells us to ask, seek, and knock, he's implying that we will have times when we'll be seeking something important that's missing. When he says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened," I think you know what he's implying about how you're going to feel sometimes. And sometimes that burden you carry is the fact that you just crashed a train that you were driving. Or you just disappointed someone you love, again. Or it's the sudden loss of a loved one after a long struggle with their health, or into the arms of someone who apparently excited them more than you did at the moment. Or maybe someone hurt you, and whether it was recently or a long time ago, it hasn't healed one bit. Or maybe your life with all of its demands, tasks, and surprises is just moving more quickly around the next corner than you're comfortable traveling, and you're scared of the crash that seems to be inevitably coming. Or maybe it already happened. Or maybe you look at the world today and the direction it's going and you get really scared for our children. You know, there are any number of reasons you might feel troubled by something, and if you are, then let's slow down the train and stop at the book of St. James, where he tells us exactly what we should do when life gets troubling. In James chapter 5, verse 13, he says this: "Is anyone among you in trouble? Let them pray." Why? Because the Jesus who invites us to pray in Scripture and commands us to pray, well, he did something. He came, he lived, he died, he rose to assure you that God is always listening.